Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Danny from Versatile Fitness. And in this video, I want to talk about the idea of living for your kids. I'm a father of three, and I remember when my kids were born, I was in the mindset of always saying, I will die for you. I will look my kids in their eye when they were babies and say, nothing will ever happen to you. I will die for you. It will happen to me first. And of course, that's the way us parents think. We will sacrifice ourselves for our children. That's just our natural instincts. But I want to kind of like get everybody in the mindset of changing the way they think and think more of I will live for my kids. Because we're rarely put in a situation where we will have to die for our kids. So I challenge you to get in the mindset of living for your kids. And what that means is making conscious decisions to extend your life, to make sure you live a longer, healthier life. I remember a couple of years ago, or I should say a lot of years ago, I was around 11 years old, and my mother was suffering from drug addiction. And it was Thanksgiving, and I remember it because I was on a football team, and I just came back from having a great football game, and they called it the Turkey Bowl. And I remember coming home, it was Thanksgiving. My sister came back home. My stepfather was there, my little brother. My mother was supposed to cook Thanksgiving dinner. And unfortunately, the night before, she spent all of the money on drugs. And my mother was so embarrassed, so hurt, so disappointed in herself. She lashed out on everyone and told everyone to get out the house. I just had an eerie feeling when she told us that. My stepfather, he got my little brother, who was about, 3, 4 years old. He took him to Harlem, to his mother's house. My sister went to the back of the projects to her boyfriend's house and had Thanksgiving with them. I didn't want to go with either one of them. My mother kicked us all out, so I just went outside. And I remember walking outside in the projects on Thanksgiving. Everybody's home. Everybody is in the house. Nobody's outside. So I decided to go back home. So when I went in the house, it was just too quiet. And I knew something was wrong. So my mother's bedroom was all the way in the back. So I had to walk there. And it was probably the longest walk I've ever taken. And because I didn't know what I was going to see. I just had a bad feeling. Even at 11 years old, I knew something wasn't right. So, I'll go in the back and I see my mother. She's laid out on the bed. And there's like a bottle of pills next to her. But she didn't take them. They just like right there. And she just laid there. And she looks up at me and she's like, didn't I tell you to leave? Didn't I tell you to leave? So I'm like, yo, Ma, what are you doing with those pills? She's like, get out, get out. No, I don't want to be here no more. I knew what that talk was. I knew what the pills was. Even though I was 11 years old, I was very mature and well aware of life at that age. So I knew what she was trying to do. And I just remember started crying. And I'm like, Ma, if you take those pills and kill yourself, I'm going to go in the kitchen and kill myself. And I was serious. I was really, how can I live without my mother? I thought, if she does this, then I'm going to kill myself. And, she looked at me and she grabbed me and she started crying and I'm crying. And literally we fell asleep in each other's arms on Thanksgiving. So every time Thanksgiving comes around, I'm thankful for where I'm at today and, the things that I've accomplished. But I think about that moment. And at that very moment, I was thankful that my mother didn't kill herself. And I was thankful that I went home in time to stop her from doing that. So I mentioned that story to say, to live for your kids, right? So my mother, unfortunately, she passed away when she was 49 years old. And that was about 10 years later, 10, 12 years later. And within that 10, 12 years, she accomplished so much. That moment was like rock bottom. After that moment, she realized, how detrimental the drugs was having on the family, how it is affecting us, how it was affecting my childhood, growing up the way I was growing up, my behavior, everything. and she changed. And I got to witness that change. I got to witness her overcome and accomplish. She bought 2 homes after that. You know, she got a great job. My stepfather got a great job. Like, you know, they really came up from nothing. And they showed me that. And without me actually seeing it and witnessing it, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. So her deciding and making that choice to live for her kids helped me become who I am today. You know, so now what I'm going to do is take it a step further. I'm going to do better. I'm going to make sure I don't repeat the same cycle and actually enhance and live even longer for my kids. You know, if I have any say in it, you never know. You go outside and get struck by lightning. But what I'm saying is the things that I can control, I'm going to make every conscious effort to live for my kids, try to make better decisions. So I want you to live for your kids. You know, don't just live for yourself. Don't live for social media. Don't live for your friends. Live for your kids. They're dependent on you because they're watching you. And what you do, either they're going to repeat it or they're going to enhance it. So in closing, make sure you live for your kids.